What if I told you that the reason you're still stuck in just enough living isn't because that's God's will, but because maybe you believe Satan's lie? You see, the enemy has literally convinced believers that an overflowing type of lifestyle is prideful, that abundance is selfish, and dreaming big for the kingdom is somehow too much. But here's the truth. God did not design us just to be stuck in this survival mode. He called us to stewardship, to dominion, and to build a legacy. So as I sit in my truck today, let's talk about it. Because the enemy has literally convinced believers and caused us to be in this place where we feel guilty for wanting a paid off home or peace in our finances or time to rest without stress or a thriving business or ministry or a land and inheritance for our children or having an influence that reaches the nations. We've been told that that's prideful, that that's the prosperity gospel, that you got to be content with what you have. But contentment is not stagnation. Let you sit on that one for a second. I mean, let's look at scriptures. Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to who? His children's children. In other words, your grandchildren. So why would God instruct us or show us what a wise man is like unless that's what he would want to build us into? Why would God instruct us instruct this if building generational wealth was prideful or against his will? Deuteronomy 28:12 says, you shall lend to the nations and not borrow. This is not surviving. This is ruling in dominion. I mean, we've literally allowed the enemy to convince us that John 10:10 doesn't mean what it says, that Christ came to give us life and life in its abundance. Abundance is not a sin. It's a kingdom strategy. It's part of the kingdom. How can we serve the God of the abundance and have just enough? It makes no sense to me. But the world systems, Egypt, Babylon, whatever you want to call it, right? It profits off of our ignorance. It profits off of our exhaustions, right? It wants us to be too tired to pray. It wants us to be too broke to give. It wants us to be too stressed out to build anything. It wants us to be so overstimulated and so overwhelmed that we don't obey, right? And if the enemy can't steal our faith, he's going to attack our mind. He's going to attack our thinking. He's going to make us believe somehow that living debt-free is unrealistic, or desiring more time with the family is wrong, or asking for land to disciple others is worldly, or, dreaming of a business that feeds the poor, somehow that's greedy, or, whatever it may be. He's convinced us that it's lazy, worldly, prideful, selfish. But the truth is, this is what the word says. Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. So who gave you those desires? He did. Matthew 25:21. Man, you are faithful over little things. I'll make you a ruler over many things. Look, God's not offended by increase. He's glorified through increase. He's glorified through correct stewardship. But God's not trying to amplify a wicked heart in which increase would just increase the distance between the person and God. But let's be real, guys. Many people, maybe not majority of people, but there are some. And if you're watching this video, this episode, you're here, then maybe you're one of the few that you aren't asking more to show off. You're asking for more so you could serve more. You're asking for more to give more. But there's this heart issue. There's this limiting belief system, right? You're asking for space so that you can host discipleship meetings. You're asking for more income so you can so you could sponsor the missionaries. I mean, you're asking for more influence and impact so that you could disciple the nations for the glory of God. But it's like every time you ask and open your mouth to ask for it, there's a little whisper, the enemy, that says, that's selfish. That's prideful. That's too much. You should be storing up treasures in heaven, not on earth. And the list goes on and on and on. And many have believed him. But today, Today, I'm exposing that lie, guys. Today, I want to expose the lie because I believe that God is returning a reference to his name back to the nations. And for that to happen, his people need to do what his people are supposed to be doing. Okay? Joseph stored up grain in Egypt. It wasn't for ego. It was literally for survival of the nations. There was a dream that was given as a warning of a famine. And the truth is, God is giving many of his people warnings. And a lot of the increase in the abundance that we're asking for ain't got nothing to do with us, but it's a Joseph in Egypt type situation where God is trying to get us on the same page so we can store up the grain and survive the nations to what's to come. Solomon asked for wisdom and received wealth and honor as the overflow. I mean, Yeshua multiplied food, not to show off, but to feed the hungry. And even then, there was leftovers. And so the issue isn't increase, it's the motive. And if our hearts are to serve and bless and build, then our heart is in the right place. Then more is our ministry and not more is our pride or whatever, okay? Isaiah 60 verse 5 says, the wealth of the nations shall come to you. 2 Corinthians chapter 9:8 says, God's able to bless you abundantly. So you will abound in every good work, okay? So I would like to call you to reclaim your desires for these things. That's the Father's will as well, okay? You're not selfish for wanting rest. You're not prideful for wanting to be out of debt. You're not wrong for asking to expand, okay? So let's stop letting the enemy weaponize our humility against our inheritance. I'm going to say that again. Stop letting the enemy weaponize humility against your inheritance. Okay, let's break the lie that just enough is enough. No, it's not. Okay, it might be just enough to feed your mouth, but it's not enough to do the work of the kingdom. Okay, we serve the God of the overflow so that he can overflow into us through his Son. We will overflow into the nations. Okay, so let's drop a comment in the chat. Say, I receive the increase. If you're down with me to receive the increase so we can go forth, disciple the nations, magnify Christ, and do all of the things he's called us to do. Okay, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, guys. If you're tired of the lies and ready to imply the truth that multiplies the kingdom in our lives, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a word. Share this with somebody else who may be stuck in a survival mindset or just needs an extra stirring or encouragement. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know how this helps, guys. Let's not let the enemy put words in our Father's mouth. Stay encouraged, stay armored up. See you in the next video.